to be here. So thank you so much for having me to this evening.
Yes, and thank you for coming. I ran across you on Instagram, of course, and when I saw your campaign, it really moved me. And what I'm talking about, Sippers, she has a campaign, and she is the CEO and founder of PAB, which is Parents Against Bullying. And that is so much to be said because of all the different things that are happening now with bullying. Even the most recent thing that just happened to the co-star of Empire,
Right.
Jesse
Jussie
Yes.
Smollett.
Jussie Smollett. So the awareness it's something that's needed.
Right.
It's something that's needed. And I want you, Shantae, to tell us about your organization, how it started, and how did it become such a big thing.
Yes, well, in 2012, one of my twin girls was brutally attacked on a school bus where she was kicked in the head, and I'm going to give you the short version, kicked in the head for a total of 17 minutes by her bully on the school bus. My daughter almost died on the school bus. The doctor said at 3 inches to the left, she would have died instantly.
Oh my gosh.
From that, my daughter ended up having reoccurring seizures for 5 out of 7 days a week for about 2.5 years. And I knew once I was able to get my daughter stable that I did not want another family to go left alone, because you guys think back in 2012, no one talked about bullying.
Absolutely.
And no one had any type of support groups or anything. It just wasn't a topic that we talked about. And so at that point, I just had to make sure that I was that advocate, and I wanted to advocate not only for my daughter but for anybody else that did not have a voice, or if they had a voice, had a stronger voice to speak up and speak out against bullying. So that was just the quick synopsis about and behind the reason behind Parents Against Bullying Virginia.
And as a parent, I can only imagine where that took you to. But take me to that actual phone call that you received and your emotion, because I know it had to be something like close to murder because I would want to.
Well, it so happened that I was at the bus stop waiting for my girls because that was their first time riding a school bus. They were 6th graders. I was a hairstylist and owned a salon, so I took my girls back and forth to school before then.
Right.
And I wanted them to be acclimated amongst their peers.
Mhm.
You know, middle school, I'm thinking it's going to be fun or what have you. So, I wanted them to kind of, mix and mingle. So
Right.
I went the first couple of weeks to just see how was this bus run going to go, because if it wasn't right, I was going to continue to take them back and forth to school. So I was at the bus, I put them on the bus that morning. In the afternoon, I happened to be standing at the bus stop waiting for them to get off. And this happened to be a substitute bus driver. It definitely was not the one that was driving the whole time, because if I would have saw any disruption or any aggressiveness out, like I said, I would have not allowed the twins to ride the bus.
Absolutely.
So standing at the bus stop, the young lady was screaming out of the window, telling me what she had done to my daughter and cursing and telling me that, she was going to do it again the next day. And I can only talk about that piece because we've already went to court for the criminal side. We're still in litigation behind the civil side, so I'll give you guys as much as I can, but just know that was the most hurtful thing to run home. My daughter in my arms having a seizure. And her twin was so, distraught, and it really changed our family's lives, just that whole incident. So I just need people to always know, and especially our youth, that a matter of 17 minutes can change someone's whole life.
Yes.
Right.
Whether it's, someone passing on, or like my daughter went into a very heavy depression and suicidal ideation, meaning she had suicidal thoughts. She was only 11 at the time.
Wow.
And that's a transition for you from elementary to middle school.
Right.
And my girls knew nothing about fighting. So, I can't help that they're raised how they were raised, but, I just thank God my daughter is still here today to stand and tell her story and talk about her story when she feels like talking about it, because I never push her. And I'm very grateful that my daughter is doing extremely well. Both of the girls are. And it's been a journey.
Yeah.
And this is just a healing process for us to continue to do Parents Against Bullying. It's not easy to hear about the stories of the parents that don't have their children any longer, and the seriousness about the phone calls that I receive, the emails, the text messages. It never stops. I don't turn my phone off because of the fact that I get calls from around the world. It's not just here.
Oh, wow.
So it's not something that just happens in the 757. And it's not something that just happens to our children. It happens to our adults, and we have to remember that too. Like you just talked about with Jesse, that's a hate crime, but it goes hand in hand with bullying. Domestic violence goes hand in hand with bullying. Gang violence is just and organized bullies. So
Absolutely.
it just depends on, how you want to look at it, but it all goes hand in hand. But education about it and educating people about the awareness is the most important part, because we have to be educated on what's what.
Right.
We have to be able to learn how to advocate, because that's not something that I just pulled out the air and I thought that I would be doing. I had to educate myself on it, read up on it, and know how to educate for my children as well as others.
Absolutely. And with that being said, I my heart just goes out to you and your child, because that is just something I could not imagine as a parent walking up to, and especially the perpetrator telling you what they just did to your
Right.
child. Like that had to take a whole bunch of strength, and
Right.
I do have a question. Prior to that happening that day, did your daughter ever say anything to you that led up to this person bothering them prior to that?
It was reported to school about this child bullying my daughter. So yes,
Okay.
yes, it was. She did tell it, and at first the twins were talking amongst themselves. There's two of them, and until it started getting to the point where she had to tell me, what was what. And tell me a little bit about what was going on and sharing that with me. And I thanked her for sharing that with me, because you have to have a open communication with your child. I'm not saying be your child's friend, but they have to be comfortable enough to come and tell you when something is going on.
Absolutely. And I'll definitely sip to that, because
Right.
children have to understand that, like you said, we're not your friend, but we are to be your safe net.
Absolutely.
And they have to feel comfortable enough to be able to come to us as parents,
Yes.
and not just push it aside, because some parents will say, "Oh, you're okay,"
Right.
Stop telling me this.
right,
Or stop
right.
tattling.
Or what did you do?
Yes, yes.
No, it's not always about there. There's mean kids out there.
Yes, it is.
And it starts from somewhere.
Right.
Even with the bullies, something's happening in either their home or their life that's making them
Absolutely.
be this type of person. So that also needs to be checked. But I feel so bad, and I'm glad
But I'm glad she's better.
she's better. I see them on the cheering team,
Yes,
and
they
they
do.
doing their doggone thing.
I mean, they have
So-
their times. They're still in school, and they still go through the everyday life of being in school. They're seniors or what have you, but it's a lot going on with our social media. It's a lot going on with our children in general. And they have to deal with a lot that I didn't have to deal with going
Right.
through school, and you may
Right.
not have to deal with that whole. Our internet is a
Yes.
is a good and a bad.
Absolutely.
It's a double-edged
I
sword,
agree.
and so it's all in how they react to it. And I try to continuously encourage my girls to continue to talk to me, and I try to lead by example. And that's the other big piece, is you have to lead by example so that your children can know how to act. And that's one of the things I tell the parents. When they come to me, I ask them, how did you react?
Right.
Yes.
If
What
you
did you
acted a
do?
fool, I can't
They're
go
gonna
with you,
act a
and please
fool.
don't use my name because I'm not coming.
Absolutely.
We have to know how to say things without having to act crazy in regards to it, because then that
Yeah.
trickles down to our children. They think
That's
it's
true.
okay to do that.
Right.
Very
So
true.
that there's just some key points that you've got to know in order. And no, is this easy? Absolutely not.
Right.
It's not easy by far. Each day is it challenging? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Because I do connect with people, and I have a heartstring for children. So that's something that is not an easy task, to see the things that they have to go through.
Terrible. And even what you speaking about social media, it's hard to say this, but the guy that's supposed to be our president of the United States, Donald Trump, seeing his wife Melania as an advocate
For bullying.
like she is the prime ambassador. This is her mission
Yes, ma'am.
for bullying, and you're married to the biggest bully
Right.
of social media.
Absolutely.
Right.
I just can't digest all of that, because
Right.
how can you take that type of stand when you're living and married to that type of person?
I can only say maybe that's the way that she's trying to heal herself, or go help her to get through something that she may be going through.
Very
We never
true.
know. We never know.
Right.
And my heart goes out to whomever, and that may come through something like that, because it's not easy.
Absolutely, and you are absolutely right, because she's probably being bullied
I
as
was
well.
about to say that. Maybe she's getting bullied
Yeah.
herself, and she's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and start this and run this. Meanwhile, it's about him.
That's very true. Very true. Now, a lot of people may not know what bullying is, because sometimes we do things and we don't consider that being bullying.
Right.
What would you say, or what are the signs of bullying, or what does it look like to someone who might not know?
Well, first of all, the definition, and we do need to know that the definition of bullying is an unwanted aggressive behavior that is consecutive, meaning that it happens, it reoccurs on and on by one person or a group of people. So it just can't happen just one time, and then that's bullying. You have to know it's an unwanted behavior that is aggressive and that it's happening on and on multiple times by one person or multiple people. So let's get that part,
Right.
We have to know that part. The other piece is the other signs, meaning, say for instance, a child, if your child usually is a social butterfly and then all of a sudden they start to convert themselves alone, wanting to be alone a lot, going into their rooms, not being as social anymore, not talking, you need to find out what's going on. These phones, go into those phones. You need to know all the passwords.
Yes,
You
I
need
agree.
to. It's not about being nosy.
I will sit to that
That is
because
your
I do
business.
that.
That is your
My daughter
business.
is 11. I do that all the time.
Absolutely. I need you to know.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I need you to ask, how was your day?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Exactly.
anything going on? Anything I need to know about?
Right.
You need to have those conversations because at the end of the day, it's too many parents that are not doing that
Yeah.
Mhm.
or ignoring some of the signs
Right.
or it's so many things that can go with that, and you want to be proactive instead of reactive.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that your child is not the one that's actually doing the
bully.
bullying.
Absolutely.
Because that could be, they can be in that room hibernating,
Right.
planning the next attack.
Right.
So you just never know.
And you're not born a bully. That's a
It's a
learned
learned
behavior.
behavior.
It is.
And it stems from at home. So parents, I need you to do your part too. I call it pushing. You need to have patience, understanding, stability to handle your business.
Write
Oh, I
that
love
down.
that. I
Write
love
that
that.
down, my sippers. Can you repeat
One
that
more
one more
time.
time?
P is for patience. U is for understanding. S is for stability. 2, H, handle your business. So I need you to handle your business when it comes to
awesome.
your children because it all starts at home.
Absolutely. Now, how did this incident affect your other daughter watching her sister get attacked?
Listen, my daughter, that twin is very protective now because she was in the front of the bus. My other one was at the back of the bus, so she didn't know what was going on until almost the very end.
Mm.
So she felt like she could have helped, but she didn't know.
She didn't know.
And she wasn't able to protect her. Like the feeling that I had as a mom.
Yeah.
A mom is a protector, so you want to protect yours at all times. So my daughter went through a very hard time of anger. And she still deals with that when it comes down to certain things that may happen. They can fuss and fight all they want to.
Right.
'Cause they're
Right.
siblings.
Yes.
But somebody else comes around, there's a
She's not
problem. She's like
having
a
it.
pit bull. I call her the
Absolutely.
silent pit bull. You have a twin that's very, very bubbly and want to talk a lot, and then you have a
Right.
silent one. She's always been the silent one. She kind of like is very observant, but that thing, that's a silent
Yes.
pit
That's
bull.
the one you got to watch
You
out
have
for,
to
those
don't back
silent
one
ones.
corner
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're still working on.
Yeah.
Because I could never imagine my sister or my brother, because I have a brother, I could never have imagined that happening to him, and I couldn't help him or didn't know what
Right.
was going on.
Right.
That's the worst. That is the worst.
Oh my
So yes, but like I said, I thank God. I thank God for allowing my children to not look like what they've been through.
Yes.
Myself to not look like what I've been through with this journey. And I know that this is something that I was chosen to do because there's nowhere in the world I would have ever thought in a million years that any of these things would have happened to my kids. My kids were preemies, so they were born fighters.
Mm.
So and Ayana, which was my sickest baby, which was the one that was attacked, I didn't see her face for 3 weeks because she was covered as far as on a machine and things like that. So that was my sickest one. So I also tell kids, you don't know what may be going on physically,
Right.
with someone.
Right.
So you can hit someone and you think
The
it's
wrong
funny,
way,
and
and-
that could be that one hit could kill them.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's with the young man that just hung himself. Mr. Seven,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
sending praises to
Right,
his
prayers.
family as well.
Yeah.
That hung himself. He was born and he had some things going on, and he was being bullied in school,
Mm-hmm.
and he hung himself, and his mother found him. That's something that I thought about every day because my daughter would tell me, I'm not going to wake up in the morning. I'm not going to be here because
Oh my
I don't know why
gosh.
this happened to me. Can you imagine hearing it from your 11-year-old child?
No, I
That's
couldn't.
why I take this very, very serious. And
Right.
people always say, because I don't tell the story every day. Because you have to
Right.
get the book. I need you guys to get the book when that come out on the
Yes.
12th.
We'll talk about that.
But on a serious note, for real, that's one of the things that continuously replays in my head that,
Of course.
and I have to every day get up and make sure that I continue to, if I can save another life, just one, then I'm doing what God has chosen me to do.
Right.
Whew, Whew, that's deep. That is deep, and you are correct again. And I would go back to saying this about being a parent to your children, because that young boy that just killed himself, yeah, he hung himself,
Right.
and one, being bullied, and then two, having a condition. Those two things weigh
Absolutely.
so heavily,
Right.
especially on a small child. And
Mhm.
kids are already honest
Yes.
as it is.
Right.
They are so honest,
Yes.
even if they
Right.
don't even know that they're bullying or they're saying
Right.
certain things. They say something, you know, and I'm sure with that bag, it may have had a
Smell.
smell.
It did, and that's what his
Uh-huh.
mom said.
Yeah, and so kids are quick to say, "Oh, you stink," or
Yes.
you know, something like that, and it's a condition that he couldn't help.
Yes.
You know, so when, as a parent, and if you parents are listening, make sure you are talking to your children,
Yes.
because words hurt.
Yes.
When people say sticks and stones may break my bones,
That
but
is the
words
worst.
will never hurt me.
Listen,
I don't know who made that up.
I don't know who made that up, but that is the most untruth I've ever heard of in my life.
Absolutely.
Because those words stick to you.
They
You know,
do.
wounds heal, but words stick.
Words
and
stick.
that's something that we have to continue to teach our kids. Those wounds that go away, the scars may even fade away, but
Right.
those words will always stick with you.
Yep.
So you have to keep knowing. Taste your words before they come out your mouth, because you cannot take them back.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We want you guys to stay right there unless you're going to fill your glasses or refill your glasses. So stay right here and tuned into 94.7 The Link. Great.